Animal world is a crazy place. They have all sorts of weird traits and habits that go against all our rules and logic. But some species of animals are so bizarre that you wouldn't believe what they do, even if you saw it with your own eyes. So buckle up, guy, because today we'll take a look at some wacky and crazy facts about animals that sound totally fake, but are 100% legit. Cows have best friends. We all love hanging out with our best friends, and so do cows. Yes, cows have best friends too. Studies have found that cows have selective friendships and experience significantly less stress when they are hanging out with their mates. Cows that are reared together maintain strong, lifelong bonds in comparison to other cows that were introduced or joined their group at a later stage. Just like us, they also share their space and spend up to 50% of their time with one specific mate. But how do you spot the cow best buddies? If you see a cow licking the heads, necks, and backs of another one, you can safely assume that those two are BFFs. What's more interesting is that when two cow besties are separated, both cows showed negative changes in their behavior, health, welfare, and productivity. But that's not permanent. When you reunite them, all of that stress just vanishes away. Cats are responsible for the global extinction of 33 species. Cats are the cute little pets that like to cuddle, and the most they can do is probably steal a fish or kill a rat. But being the reason for the extinction of 33 species of creatures? Isn't that a bit extreme? No, it's true. You see, free-ranging cats cause substantially greater wildlife mortality than we thought previously. They are likely the single greatest reason behind various species of mammals and birds being wiped out in the US. Free-ranging cats on islands have contributed to 14% of the modern bird, mammal, and reptile extinctions, which counts to 33 species according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature. What's more shocking is that there has been evidence from 3 continents that suggest cats can also locally reduce mainland birds and mammals populations. And things are only getting worse. In Australia, officials have proposed killing some 2 million feral cats to stop their assault on endangered species. Man, who knew cats could cause such mayhem? A chicken lived without a head for 18 months. I know it's a little hard to believe, and if I didn't know, I'd have also thought it's an illogical fake story. But this has really happened quite a few times. Mike the Headless Chicken is perhaps the most famous example. Its owner, a farmer named Lloyd Olson, chopped off its head in 1945, but the chicken didn't die. So the farmer kept it and dropped food and water directly into its esophagus. The chicken lived for 18 months before it passed away. It may be sounding super weird, and it should, but chicken brains are not a regular brain. Their skeletal anatomy is such that while some of the brain may be sliced away, a very important part remains, so the bird leaves. Ancient penguins were 6 feet tall and weighed 250 pounds. Standing today, penguins might seem small, cute, and cuddle, but this wasn't always the case. A few years ago, scientists found the fossil remains of the largest species of penguins from Antarctica. This fossil belonged to a colossal penguin that was 6 feet 8 inches tall, and according to the scientists, it weighed around a whopping 250 pounds. To put that into perspective, emperor penguins, the largest species alive today, is only about 4 feet tall. Because of its humongous size, this species of penguin has been named the colossal penguin. But we don't have to worry about being chased off by a massive penguin, because these enormous birds went extinct nearly 37 million years ago. Researchers believe that these penguins thrived in the warmer late Eocene epoch, where the climate was likely similar to that of the southern tip of South America. Not only that, these big birds were also probably very good hunters too. You see, larger penguins are known to be able to hold their breath longer. Scientists estimate that these particular species of penguins may have been able to stay underwater for upwards of 40 minutes. I guess it was enough time for them to go and find the perfect meal. The first animal to orbit the moon was a tortoise. When we think of animals in space, we usually think of Laika the dog or primates like Ham. But it may come as a shocker to many of you that the first animals to orbit the moon were actually 2 Russian tortoises that were aboard the Zond 5. On 15th September 1968, the tortoises were launched with plants, seeds, and bacteria to orbit around the moon, and they returned to Earth 7 days later. Unfortunately, The two tortoises weren't given any names, unlike other creatures that went to space. Their journey into space was one of the key events that led up to the launch of the first manned flight to the moon, Apollo 8 in 1968. These two brave unnamed tortoises seem to have taken the big step for mankind even before our astronauts. Dolphin mothers sing to their babies while they're in the womb. I'm sure most of our moms sang us lullabies when we were babies. But guess what? Humans aren't the only ones to do this. New research has shown that dolphins sing to their unborn calves too. How? Well, dolphins use signature whistles to identify and communicate with one another, much like we use names. Similarly, mother dolphins have been observed performing a signature whistle for the baby in the months running up to the birth and up to 2 weeks after. Researchers suggest that dolphins sing to their calves when they are still in the womb as part of an imprinting process. They also found that mothers performed a new whistle that intensified around the time of birth and then gradually began to taper off in the following months. But things don't end here. The other dolphins in the area remain quieter during this period. They do this so that the calf is not confused and to ensure that the wrong signature whistle is not imprinted. It seems like everyone enjoys a lullaby, even animals. Ostriches swallow pebbles to be able to grind their food. Most creatures are lucky enough to have teeth so that they can chew and process their food, but ostriches aren't so fortunate. So if these birds don't have teeth to chew and grind their food, how do they digest their food? Well, these giant birds seem to have come up with a weird but effective way to do that. They eat pebbles and rocks. I know, it sounds weird, but they swallow pebbles, rocks, and other grit and hold them in a muscular part of their stomach called a gizzard. These rocks and pebbles help grind down the various foods they consume in order to make them easier to digest. This is also the reason ostriches are classified as gastroliths, which literally translates to stomach stones. I know what you're thinking. No, the rocks do not harm them and wear down completely over time. When that happens, it is time for them to gulp down another batch of pebbles to keep their digestion on track. This unusual perk also allows them to eat things that other animals cannot digest, despite having teeth. Hippopotamuses have pink sweat that acts as sunscreen. Buying sunscreen can be a bit of a task because you need to find the one that suits your skin, check the SPF and the UVB. But hippos don't need to do any of this because they make their own sunscreen. Yes, hippos secrete a red fluid from their subdermal glands that's also known as blood sweat. But in reality, it's not blood. This secretion acts like sweat and helps control their body temperature. And that's not even all of it. This red-colored glandular secretion contains microscopic structures that scatter light and protect these hefty mammals from burns, and also keeps their skin moist. Apart from acting as sunscreen, the fluid has antibiotic properties as well. This is what allows hippos to stand in the hot sun all day without getting a sunburn. I wish my sunscreen was so versatile. Or my sweat. Male giraffes mate with each other. Homosexuality is not limited to humans. It's also found in animals. But male giraffes are taking things up a notch in this spectrum. It shook me to the core when I learned that more than 90% of giraffe lovemaking is homosexual in nature. Yes, researchers initially thought that the homosexual mating was a dominance thing, one male trying to assert his role over another. But it seems like they were wrong. The male giraffes who were being mounted didn't display any signs of submission the way lady giraffes do. So why do male giraffes hump each other then? According to Dr. Natalie Cooper, a researcher in life sciences and natural history, this isn't always an act of aggression. In fact, it might not be an aggression act at all. She suggests that male giraffes do so because sometimes they desire genital stimulation, which means it's probably just about making love. Giraffe tongues are black in color to prevent them from getting sunburnt. The world of giraffes is filled with all sorts of oddities that are way beyond our understanding. Have you ever wondered why a giraffe's tongue is black and ours are pink? I've been wondering about this for some time, and now I know why. You see, these tall creatures spend a lot of time using their tongues to get food. They use their tongue to reach into tall trees and plants to gather what they need to eat. Naturally, their tongues are out and exposed to the sun a large portion of the time. Since their tongues are about 18 to 21 inches in length, there is a lot of space to get a sunburn. To keep this from happening, giraffes have developed black tongues. The darker color is a result of the extra melanin that is present, and this acts as a sort of natural sunscreen. But this doesn't mean their tongues aren't affected by the sun at all. It just makes them less susceptible to sunburns. Imagine sticking your tongue out for so long that you need sunscreen for it. It might seem bizarre to us, but for giraffes, it is just the way things are. Sharks are older than trees. We usually assume that trees were among the very first living beings to exist on our planet. I thought so too, but it turns out we were wrong all this time. The modern-day trees with a large, tall primary trunk and a crown of leaves didn't appear on the planet until the late Devonian period, about 360 million years ago, whereas sharks, on the other hand, have been around for at least 400 million years. These monstrous beings have survived all 5 global mass extinction events that wiped out almost every living being off the planet. Would you believe me if I said there are shark fossil remains that date even further back? That's right. The oldest shark scales that were discovered are about 420 million years old from early Silurian deposits in Siberia. Sharks are nearly impervious to infections, cancers, and circulatory diseases. They can heal and recover from severe injuries very rapidly, so it's no wonder that they have made it through the roughest patches of Earth's history and are still thriving. I'll say it again. These guys are older than freaking trees. That basically sums up how badass sharks are. Wasps taught us how to make paper. Paper was originally created from old cotton and linen rags in America. In China, it was created from bamboo and mulberry plants, but none of these ways of making paper was really effective. Linen and cotton were too expensive, and bamboo was often too heavy to be considered an effective option for making paper. So how do we make paper effectively? Well, wasps. Wasps have been making their nests out of a paper-like substance long before we even knew of paper. This substance was also far more durable than anything they had witnessed up to that point. Paper wasps take wood and chew it down until it is a pulp and mix it with their saliva and then make their nests from the pierced-together pulp. Luckily, a French scientist named René-Antoine Frichet de Ramore noticed this while strolling through nature and thought of duplicating the process. Although it took us thousands of years to master it, it's true that wasps taught us how to make paper. Do you know any other animal facts that sound fake but are actually true? Out of all the facts on this list, which one did you have a hard time believing? Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you loved watching this video, you know what to do next. Just smash the like button and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon and turn on all notifications after subscribing to the channel. That'll keep you up to date with other interesting videos we post. That's all we have for you today. We'll see you soon in the next one. Bye!